US President Donald Trump's top economic advisor, Garry Cohn, has resigned. This comes after he lost a fight over Trump's plans for hefty steel and aluminium import tariffs. Experts say the departure of the director of the National Economic Council will blow a hole in Trump's already depleted advisory team at a time when the economy is growing but markets are volatile. The US president said in a tweet that he will be making a decision soon on replacing him. White House officials say the tariffs dispute contributed to Cohen's decision to leave, but it was not the sole reason. Cohen's departure is the latest in a series of high-profile departures from the White House. A White House official said that Mr. Cohen told the president about his decision to resign on Tuesday, but he and the president had been discussing his possible departure for weeks. Cohen did not show up for Trump's news conference on Tuesday, despite a seat being set aside for him. It must not be forgotten the 57-year-old was behind the move last year not to label China a currency manipulator. Cohen also played a role in renegotiating the North American Free Trade Agreement when it was understood that the deal would be terminated. Cohen was also a driver of the tax overhaul enacted in December last year, which proved to be a major legislative achievement of the Trump administration. His resignation then was immediately felt at the Wall Street. Shares, oil and dollar all took a hit as investors fear the trade war could depress global growth. Europe and the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, have urged Donald Trump to step back from the brink of a trade war, as Cohen's resignation has emboldened those encouraging the US president to push ahead with tariffs on imported steel and aluminium. Remember, Trump plans to impose a duty of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminium to counter cheap imports, especially from China. The US president has argued that cheap imports undermine American industry and jobs, but the cost can be huge and can be felt by very many people in sectors if this goes on. And Mr. Cohen, as we said, has joined the prestigious list of ex-White House officials. Over 1 dozen have either been sacked or quit office since Trump's inauguration in January last year.
Just last month, Donald Trump's longest-serving aide, Hope Hicks, announced her resignation as Strategic Communications Director. The announcement came a day after she was questioned by the House Intelligence Committee. The same month, White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter quit after a year in office following allegations of domestic violence by 2 of his ex-wives. Last year, his Deputy National Security Advisor, Dina Powell, quit to return to work in Goldman Sachs. She was a key member of the Trump team working on West Asia and the Israel-Palestine peace process. Earlier, Health Secretary Tom Price resigned amid controversy over misuse of public funds for his trips to Africa, Asia and Europe. The most high-profile of the exits, of course, was that of Steve Bannon. Once described as the second most powerful man in Washington, Trump's one-time chief strategist, Bannon was fired days after he was quoted extensively in Michael Wolff's explosive book Fire and Fury about the Trump administration. Then there was the White House Communications Director, Anthony Scaramucci, who had to go after just 10 days because he took on some of his own colleagues. His departure followed that of Trump's Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus, and spokesperson Sean Spicer. Priebus was fired and replaced with John Kelly as he had strong differences with Scaramucci. This was the case of White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer as well. According to reports, he too was not at ease working with Scaramucci, who had been appointed as the White House Communications Director. Earlier in the summer, Trump dismissed FBI Director James Comey amid criticism of his handling of investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. Also sacked was National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who was charged with misleading Vice President Mike Pence and the FBI about his meetings with the Russian ambassador before Trump's inauguration. Attorney General Sally Yates and prominent New York attorney Preet Bharara also got booted out of the Trump team. Now Garry Cohn too has left following differences over taxes Trump proposed on aluminium and steel imports. Bureau Report, WION.